אדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Animation family. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is that we are all together. Even without Rabbi Leah here, we will make things work. And it's wonderful to have the family in, the Goldstein and the Collin family, to make it work, literally. Ha'am ha'hochim ba'choshech ra'u or gadol.
The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. In the past week, some have known sorrow or disappointment, and for some the future looks far from bright. Let this Sabbath be an oasis of quietness. To the lonely may it bring companionship, to the sorrowing comfort, to the dispirited courage, to all of us peace of mind and hope for the future.
We say together, lighting our candles here in our sanctuary and all of our small sanctuaries. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom to you all, and it's wonderful to have people joining us from Leeds and the New Forest and in Cape Cod and down on the south coast and all of those locally as well, joining us on this Shabbat.
There are days when we seek material things and measure failure by what we do not own.
The Sabbath we wish not to acquire but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature with reckless greed.
On the Sabbath we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we think only of ourselves.
On the Sabbath we open our hearts to the needs and rights of others.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמושי ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני.
To tell of your love in the morning and your faithfulness in the night, to the sound of lute and harp and to the music of the lyre. Your deeds fill me with gladness, your work moves me to song. How great are your words, eternal God, how very deep your thoughts.
Magadlu Masechaya Me'odam ku Mashevotecha Magadlu Masechaya Me'odam ku Mashevotecha Tzadikata Yivra Keretz Babonon Yizkeh Shetu
The Eternal One reigns in grandeur robed.
Robed and girded with strength,
The world stands firm.
it shall not be moved.
Your throne is established from of old.
For you are everlasting.
The oceans roar, eternal God. The thundering oceans roar.
The thundering oceans rage.
Yet greater than the roaring waves, mightier than the breaking seas.
You stand supreme on high,
Sure are the proofs of your power, O God.
and holiness adorns your house forever.
If your feet haven't been moving so far, then please do make the move.
Lechatodi likratikala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lechatodi likratikala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamo v'zacho b'dibor echad Ishmi'anu el ha'am yuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shemo tiferet v'litihila L'chadodi likratikala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechufanecha Ki himako haberacha Merosh mikeden lesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshavatila L'chadodi likratikala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Hitorori, Kiva Hore, Kumiori, Uri, Shishaperi, Kavod Adonai, Halayach Nigla, Lechatodi, Likratikala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Boi v'shalom, Hateret גם בשמחה ובזכולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראתי קלה. פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראתי קלה. פני שבת נקבלה.
And if you weren't already standing up, then please do now, as we begin our service proper. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai hamavorach, le'olam va'ed.
Praise be the one to whom our praise is due. We praise the Eternal One, to whom our praise is due forever. Please be seated. And let us continue by reading together. And when we think about the wonder of the world around us, boy, this week we've got some weather coming in. So let's appreciate every moment, whether it's the opportunity today to have hopefully got out for a little walk and get outside, or when it is that we're inside, that we do appreciate the might of the world around us. We praise you, Eternal One, our God, Sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes times and seasons, and whose will sets the stars in their courses in the sky.
You
Make day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. You make day pass and bring on the night, and separate day from night. You rule the hosts of heaven. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening fall.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahavata, Ahavata. Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadata, Otanu lemadata. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shalpenu, Kumeinu nasiach b'chokecha, V'nitzmah b'divrei Toratecha, U'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki heim hayenu, Be'orek yameinu, U'vahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Mi'achavat ha'al tasu, Mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael.
Would you please rise?
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu,
echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam, Leolam Vaed.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לפניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לתותבות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
למה אל תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
Please be seated.
All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone, Eternal One, are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt, forever to serve you in freedom. When we witnessed your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly we accepted your rule. Then, full of joy, we sang together.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha neda b'kodesh, nora tehilo, oseh beleh, nora tehilo, oseh beleh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha neda b'kodesh, Adonai imlo le'olam va'ed, Adonai imlo le'olam va'ed.
ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מגנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מגנו לחיים.
Grant, eternal God, that we may lie down in peace, and let us rise up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your wise counsel, and for your name's sake, be our help. Shield us from sickness and from war, from famine and distress, and keep us from wrongdoing. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you are our guardian and deliverer, a gracious, merciful God. Guard our going out and our coming in, that now and always we may have life and peace.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'yaakov, yoshvei tevel. La 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
We praise you, Eternal One, our God and God of our ancestors, of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel and Leah. Great and mighty, awesome and exalted God, you deal kindly with us and embrace us all. You remember the faithfulness of our ancestors, and in your love bring redemption to their children's children, for the sake of your name. You are our sovereign and helper, our Redeemer and shield. We praise you, O God, shield of Abraham and protector of Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, machayim metim atah rab lechoshia, mashiv haruach u'marid hageshem, mazriach hashemesh u'marid hatal.
Mahakel hayim b'chesed mahayeh metim b'rachamim rabim somek et noflim urofeh cholim umatir asurim umkayem emanato lishenei afar mi hamocha ba'gavurot umidomela melech memlid umachayeh
ata lahachayot metim, Baruch ata Adonai, Machayeh hametim. Kadosh ata v'norah shemecha, ve'ein lanu Eloah mibaladecha, Baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated.
V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
We continue together. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. In your gracious love, Eternal One, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, Eternal One, for the holiness of the Sabbath. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amacha Yisrael, v'tefilatam b'ahavat kabel, v'techil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch ata Adonai, she'otecha levadecha, b'yirah na'avod. And together. Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu le'olam va'ed. Tzor chayenu magen ishenu, atahu ledor vador. Nodeh lecha u'nesaper tekilatecha, al chayenu hamasarim biyadecha. Va'al nishmotenu habakorot lach, va'al nisecha shebachol yom imanu, va'al niflotecha v'tovotecha, shebachol eit erev v'voker v'tzoharayim. Baruch ata Adonai, hatov shimcha, u'lecha na'er lechodot.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki atahu melech hador, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech hador, lechol hashalom.
Shalom
Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam.
Shalom
Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך.
Shalom
שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם.
Shalom
רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Baruch atah Adonai, osei hashalom. Hiluratson imrefi, the hegonli bilafanecha Adonai tsori v'goali. May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to you, O God, our rock and our Redeemer.
O se shalom bimrama, Oya se shalom aleinu, ve'akol Israel. Ve'akol bnei Adam, oseh shalom bimrama, oyaseh shalom aleinu. May the Most High source of perfect peace, grant peace to all, to humankind. May the Most High source of perfect peace, grant peace to all Israel, to humankind. Oseh shalom, Oseh shalom, Oseh shalom, Oseh shalom, Oseh shalom.
If you are following us on our Facebook hubs, then you will have seen a number of rather old black and white photos. Ruth, my sister, reckons from 1973. She's probably right because she was a baby in the photo and I was a toddler sat in the centre next to Mum's knees. There were a number of members of the congregation in that photo, and those who I know now live in, I think, near Seattle maybe, or somewhere over on the east coast of Canada, in Susan, who was then Samuel. I'm blanking on her name now. Tony was definitely there. Sue and Joe and so many others as well. Do message us if you're there, but you will have maybe remembered that. It was written a generation maybe later by Mark DeLue and Dave Lassman, but it was definitely a Kadima tune. Last week on Kabbalat Shabbat and with this evening service, we've consciously used a more diverse musical setting to the Ashkenormative playlist. We've included music from the secular Tel Aviv promenade of Beit Tefillah Yisraeli, to the Abu Yadaya community of Uganda, of whom I'll say a bit more tomorrow morning. To conclude this evening, we will sing Ein Keloheinu to a Ladino melody, adding it on to our own Kadima favourites. Some of these tunes and cadence are difficult for our Ashkenazi tongues, but we are committed to embracing the wealth and breadth of Jewish music, just as we are of Judaism. We should do this for its own sake, and acknowledging the growing diversity of Jewish heritage within the Ark Synagogue. I often wonder what would have happened if our story, our sacred text, had not been based on the land of Israel, but, well, maybe in the Lake District, or Japan, or Africa, or Argentina. What might our image of Jethro, Zipporah, and Moses, and their sons Gershom and Eleazar have been then in our minds? If medieval biblical commentators had not been primarily based in what we now know as Spain and Portugal, Germany and France, Italy, and a sprinkling of Middle East, would our understanding have been different? This was, after all, Zipporah and Moses' household, a mixed, blended, and combined household of identity and potentially of physical appearance. During my gap year in 1988, that's a few years ago, I spent a few months on Kibbutz HaSolalim, an a-religious community near Nazareth. Spiritually dissatisfied, I occasionally hitchhiked into Nazareth on Shabbat morning and found myself drawn to the Church of the Annunciation. The church was established over the site where Catholic tradition understands the house of Mary to stand, and where the angel Gabriel appeared to her and announced that she would bear Jesus. There were also thought to be a number of early churches there. Located around these remains is a grotto below the main sanctuary. It was cool, dim, and quiet. I used to spend some time there before going for coffee in the busy Nazareth streets on a Shabbat morning. As well as this special sacred space, there were the most incredible collections of tapestries from all around the Catholic world. Each depicted Mary holding a baby Jesus. There was Mary dressed in a kimono, a kaftan, a poncho, all of the traditional female dress of the nation or people stitching the tapestry. And the faces were their faces, black, yellow, white, red, all of the colours of the skin to be found on the planet. Coincidentally, this week I was listening to William Parker, the free jazz double bassist, multi-instrumentalist, poet, and composer's latest album. In the piece, A Great Day to Be Dead, the words include, "Walking down the path is Moses, talking to Alice Coltrane and Betty Shabazz, going down to the river where hope never dies." The album is called Tren Kadith, a selection from Migration of Silence into and out of the tone world. What a name in itself, a sermon for another day. But I had to look up the word Tren Kadith. It is also known as P-Cassette, broken tile mosaics, bits and pieces, memoryware and shardware. It is a type of, I would call, folk mosaic, made from cemented together shards and broken chinaware. Catalan modernism revived the method in the 20th century. Moses, talking to Alice Coltrane and Betty Shabazz, a perfect example of the possibilities of Tren Kadith. Who were Jethro, Zipporah and Moses, Gershom and Eleazar, and the girls that probably were not even mentioned in the household of our Torah reading assigned to this Shabbat? We only have the accounts of our sacred texts and our interpretation of them. They are us, and they are every family, household, and individual that choose them as our ancestors, our heritage. We hear much about their behavior in our sacred text, but little of their appearance. It is just that our Ashkenormative heritage has tended just to see them as white. Let us now paint the Torah and all of the characters, all of our colours, all of the colours of our traditions, our heritage, from the places of the world that we come to. May we all find our place within the Torah, and may we all see us in the Torah, together as brothers and sisters.
Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is when we all come together, sisters and brothers together. We now turn to our concluding prayers, and please rise. Aleinu l'shabach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגבהי מרמים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך. כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ,
you are remembering a yahrzeit or someone dear to you right now, then please do mention their name in the chat. As we worship before you, O God, we think of those who once shared with us the joys and burdens of life and who are no longer in our midst. The sorrow of bereavement is softened by the bond of love which continues to unite us with our dear ones, and by our cherished memories of them, which we will always carry in our hearts. On this Shabbat, we recall the yahrzeit in our community of Aaron Newman, the father of Graham, of Estelle Zeffman, the mother of David, of Julian Hirsch, the father of David, of Pat Holding, the husband of Fiona, father of Maria and grandfather of Anna, of Creenie Wolfson, the mother of Jeannie Perry, of Ray Crabb, the mother of Michael, Rodney Lee, the father of Mark, Rose Jordan, the mother of Peter, and Sadie Shaffron, the mother of Jackie Hennig. May all that was good in their lives remain with us as an influence for good. O God, grant consolation to those who are in sorrow and light to those in darkness. Teach us at all times to put our trust in you and to praise your name as we say together, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehesh shemei Rabbah mavarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'tada v'talei v'talal shemei d'kudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehesh lama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yal kol b'nei Adam, v'imru. Amen. May the Most High, source of perfect peace, grant peace to us, to all Israel, to all humanity, and to all those who mourn. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. In a few moments, we invite you to join us for Kiddush, which tonight will be hosted by one of our co-chairs, Leslie Moss. You'll find the Zoom details hopefully coming up in the holding screen, and if not, then you'll find them in your weekly updates. Or you can try messaging us and we may be able to help you. Huge thanks to the person that you haven't seen this evening, which is Richard, Ruth's husband, who has been working the cameras and trying to make everything run as smoothly as possible. And he has done a superb job, I think. Also to Ruth, as ever, my sister, for always being here and always being able to hold us together. For Leora, who you often see, but also to Tammy and Charlotte. We couldn't decide between them which one to bring in, so we thought it was only fair that we all came in together this evening. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you'll join us for Kiddush in a few moments. And also, I think probably Tammy and me tomorrow morning, as well as Ruth and Richard and Joe. Which Joe?
Davis.
Joe Davis, who actually, if you go back to the 1973 photo, I think she's on one side of me, her sister Sue Ricks on the other side of me, always by our sides. I promised you some different music and a Ladino version of Ein Keloheinu to finish. Well done, you're getting really good, Shai. And we have it indeed. We have found it quite difficult to get our mouths around it, but there is no excuse not to join in with this. Please do sing along with us as we conclude the service with a Ladino, a Sephardi, Ein Keloheinu.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kamalkeinu, Ein Kamo Moshienu, non come vuestro Dio, non come vuestro Señor, non come vuestro Re, non come vuestro Salvador. Mi Eloheinu, mi Adonenu, mi Malkeinu, mi Moshienu, ken como vuestro Dio, ken como vuestro Señor, ken como vuestro Rey, ken como vuestro Salvador. No del Eloheinu, no del Adonenu, no del Malkeinu, no del Moshienu, laramos a vuestro Dios, laramos a vuestro Señor, laramos a vuestro Rey, laramos a vuestro Salvador. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Bendicho vuestro Dios, bendicho vuestro Señor, bendicho vuestro Rey, bendicho vuestro Salvador. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Tú sos nuestro Dios, tú sos nuestro Señor, tú sos nuestro Rey, tú sos nuestro Salvador.
On this Shabbat that we have shared together, let us celebrate being together as sisters and brothers, next door to each other, celebrating, feeling each other's presence, celebrating being together as part of the Jewish people. Shabbat Shalom.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.